by her son, who, as she said, was unable to be with us, as stated, tomorrow morning, and that has been replaced, as is said on your yellow sheet. I've been asked, this is Brent Barton speaking now, I've asked to introduce my mother because I know there are things she wouldn't say about herself. She is the vibration of love, and love, quote, vaunteth not itself, unquote. I bless external technology because it mirrors to us what we ourselves can do. My mother has overcome aging and decay, has levitated in moments of praise, and has disappeared in front of hundreds of people across the country. She heals terminal patients by revealing the underlying perfection. She manufactures her own nutrition and much more. She is here to show you not what she can do, but what you can do as luminous beings of light during this human experience. That's signed by Shekinah Melchizedek, or Brent Barton. So it's a pleasure to introduce again, as she was with us in August, but the first time with us here in Florida, Almine Barton, with her subject, How to Become a Bridge of Light. Welcome, Almine. Now,
I've asked a beautiful brother and sister that I had the privilege of meeting this afternoon if they would make music for you that they wrote themselves, and to sing 2 verses for you, because I would like very much for this little time we have together here that you are in your right brain, and they're going to help us do that.
Can we have the mic a little bit louder?
Want you to know,
Want you to know I
believe in your soul. Time to go.
I'd like to start with a word of prayer, if I can, please. We call forth the angels of heaven. We dedicate this as a safe place where we can unfold in our Godhood, where we can learn wisdom and understanding. God, grant that as we lose our ignorance, we may not lose our innocence. Let us see the beauty that unfolds with every rose, is in the voice of song of our brothers and sisters, and the glory of the valor of the human drama. This night may all that I say be in accordance with thy will. Might I become the word. May the hearts of my brothers and sisters be open, that they may take that which is for them and leave that which is not, effortlessly, trusting in their own discernment, for they are God beings in disguise. I thank thee, God, from the depths of my soul in the greatest humility for the privilege of speaking to thy elect beings upon the planet. For these are they. For thou hast promised me that those will be the ones I will address. I acknowledge their divinity. Amen. What I would like to do this evening is to tie up for you some of the loose ends that are hanging in your minds. You have heard so many conflicting things. You have been given every reason in the world to be scared, and then you are told, fear not, come from a position of love. How is this done? How is this accomplished? How do we, as God beings in the flesh, rise triumphant in front of the hurdles that lie ahead? I was here this afternoon with the beautiful talk our brother Danny gave, and I am so impressed with his sincerity and the beauty of his life and his humility and the dedication that he has to follow his path no matter what. What I would like to do this evening is to show you how can we make him less than 100% accurate. It's not his desire to be 100% accurate. He wants us to prove him wrong. Otherwise, there is no purpose to his work. How? That is what we will look at this evening. We have several dilemmas. Let me examine them one by one. The first dilemma that I see is that, so many of you have come to me and said, it was hell. I'm so glad there are others that finally speak my language. I'm not alone. Nobody believed me 20 years ago when I told them I was a UFO abductee. No one believed me. Finally, I'm with others of like mind. At the same time, that is absolutely true. You no longer need to stand alone. And together we can accomplish everything. But at the same time, you cannot fly as the eagle, without leaving the flocks of birds behind. You have to go through what my Shoshone friend calls the big alone, as you walk a path that is yours alone. You see, a tribe is connected by myth. Or, let's say this a different way. Tribes are formed because of belief systems. We will look at the word belief versus faith. If you develop at a more rapid rate because you do not hold to myth or belief systems, you will develop faster than the tribe. And if that is the case, my brothers and sisters, do not expect their approval. I will tell you that it is necessary for us to stand together, yet to let the wind dance between us. Meaning that we are willing to support each other. We are willing to find whatever fragment of truth each one of us brings. We are willing to overlook the other parts that have not yet moved into complete truth. And we are willing to cover each other's backs. In 1992, I was told in Revelation that the light exceeded the dark. I said, God, how can this be possible? Look at what's going on around us. It is more dark than ever. And I was told, no. On 11/11/1992, we moved into the first overtone of the fourth dimension. That is the astral plane. That is where we used to go to dream. Have you noticed that life seems like a dream? That is why. We're in that place of vibration where we used to be in the dream state. But what that also meant is that in the astral realms was kept 26,000 years of all the thought forms of mankind. That means we have entered that place where all the darkest of the dark thought forms have been kept. It is their last hurrah. We are moving into the light. We have been giving messages about 2013, which is what we're heading for. 2013, 2013. This is over and over in all the mystical numbers. To make quite sure that you would not forget about this year, it even was programmed into your bodies. You have got 20 fingers and toes. You have 13 main joints. You have 7 chakras within the body. 7, 13, 20. In my third level ascension tapes that we sell, I show you how this is a roadmap to God consciousness. It is the numerical number of bringing the minds in alignment. It is important that we realize that nevertheless, we have accomplished a great deal that we may not lay down on the job. You see, in 1992, many of the Ascended Masters left. They turned the reins over to us because some of us were becoming Ascended Masters. And then last year, I was told that because light workers were so severely targeted and were being turned one upon another, that once again there was a probability that the earth would tilt. If she tilts more than 6 degrees, she will flip over. We will keep her safe upon her course. We will anchor her safe upon her axis as we walk in balance. From 1987 until 1997, consciousness and the energies on the planet doubled every year. as of this year, and I was so fascinated to see Danny say this afternoon that things are going to go times 10. Yeah, you're right, because consciousness is going to raise times 10. Between 98 and the year 2012, it will be times 100. In 1996, I used to tell people, find who you are, live your truth. 1996, find it. In 1997, implement it. Because by 1998, all that you will be able to do is maintain. Because your brothers and sisters out there that don't have a clue about what's happening and is resisting this increase of light will be bouncing off the ceilings. Haven't you noticed that even your family members are going nuts? That you speak to them, but they don't even hear you. So you speak again and they don't even hear you. It might be necessary for us to make a new family. There are beautiful brothers everywhere, beautiful sisters. I have found new parents. I have found new children. It is not necessarily so that those that you were born with will end up being your family. But within our acceptance of one another, we have to allow each other the right to fail. Do you know who throws the most darts my way? And that too is appearances, all right? Because we are all one. They're not my students. They come because they truly feel that I might have something they wish to know. It's so sadly the other light workers. The New Age insult is that you're a reptilian. And I try and say, but if I'm a reptilian, I mean, isn't this a terribly good reason to rejoice? That a reptilian has come into the light, if that's your opinion? No. Then I'm government programmed. Okay? Now that might be, all things might be, all right? If I am, I want to know why they spray me with bug spray and put stuff in my water when I'm out of my room and tamper with my vitamins and do various black helicopters over my house if I'm one of them. But nevertheless, let's accept that this might be possible. Lucifer himself should be able to stand in front of you, and you should be quiet enough and loving enough and discerning enough to hear the one true things that the father of lies might say. If 99 things are untrue and one piece of truth is given you from Lucifer himself, it should resonate because you have found that place of stillness. I'm not going to tell you how to find it because that is what is on my ascension levels that we sell. Let us take a look at why we turn upon another when we are trying to do the same thing. Light workers have an additional responsibility. The rest of the population have come simply to be. Doing is of the surface mind. Being is of spirit. But we as light workers have an additional agenda. We have come here not just to be, but to show others how to be. As such, it is essential that we look at some of the myths of the new tribe that has developed, which is the New Age tribe. You know, let's take a look at some of the conflicting beliefs that have been here this weekend. Because I hear you. You are very confused. Let us look at the issue of the Christ. Now, you might actually think that I am invested in whether or not there is a Christ, because my description calls me a Christos mystic. My staff members came to me and said, "We need to describe you, Almine. This is part of what one does." So I said, "Sure, I'm the door of everything." They said, "Nope, you have to be more specific." I said, "Well, I can't be more specific. That is what I am. I am all things. My heart is that door. And if it is open, I am you, and you are me. I am the darkest of the dark, and I am the lightest of the light. For I am all things, as is each and every one of you." I said, anything else would be too limiting. They said, "Well, I'm sorry, you're just going to have to come up with something." So we put our heads together, and I said, "Well, if I call myself a shaman, the Native Americans are going to say, 'Nah, she's nothing but a little white girl with too much makeup.' So we're going to have to think of something. I'm teaching Christ consciousness, and in addition to that, I am teaching you mystical techniques. Mystical only in that previously it's been hidden from the masses. You see, the upside to what we're experiencing, now that you've heard all the downside for a couple of days here, the upside is that all information is available to you, whether you are a dentist or a housewife or 70 or 17. Previously, you had to go live up in the ashram or in the mountains, because these were safely guarded truths. Now they're there. All you need to do is say, "I want it." So let's start out and look at the issue of the Christ. I will tell you simply my highest knowledge at this time, because I will never limit my knowledge and say that this is what it's going to be. Tomorrow, I hope I will have gone up the next rung of the ladder and in great humility learned the next vantage point. So I can only give you my highest vantage point today regarding the issue of Jesus the Christ. Our space brothers, both the Andromedans and the Pleiadians, are saying that it is a hologram. Okay, that there was no such personality. Okay, I listen and I say, that is possible, that might be true. That's the only way to approach any knowledge. This is possible, this may be true. Now, I have to weigh what I have experienced also, because the one thing you must never do, never trust beings implicitly because they have a higher vibratory rate or because they have superior technology or because they're smarter. The Greys are infinitely smarter than you are. Their technology is 2,000 years in advance. The reptilians are infinitely smarter, and their advancement is 3,000 years beyond yours. But you have something they don't. You have an emotional body. You can feel, and you can feel with your heart. So I will tell you my experiences, and then we will see together what is the best stand we may want to take for the moment. We will do it like this. When I was a little girl, something happened to me where I left my body and I found myself in front of the Master Jesus the Christ, or at least the hologram I perceived as such, okay? And we have to look at that possibility. So I was told that there would come a time, and I did not understand at all as a child what this meant, that there would be a deliberate tampering of the timeline by those who wish us to lose faith And I see in my Danny's sheet that I picked up there, because I was so impressed with the beautiful spirit of the man, the humility. And I picked it up, and it said in there that people will this year turn away from Christianity. I'm not talking about Christianity. Religion is the opposite of spirituality. Religion requires that you lose faith in yourself in order to have faith in them. They require that you fit your beliefs into a box which makes up their tribe. And if you step out of the box, that ceases to be. Now you are excluded. They demand that you not hear the voice of God which is within, in spite of the fact that the Christ said the kingdom of heaven is within. Because if you do, you will not go to them for advice. And religion is big business. So that is not what I'm talking about. But if we lose faith in the Christ, that is what I'm talking about. And we will also look at the difference between belief and faith. So I was told that there would come a time when the timeline would be deliberately distorted. And well-meaning beings would interpret it as not being the way that it was. Now, all we can say to that is that's possible also. It is possible that our brothers, the Andromedans, and our brothers, the Pleiadians, are looking at a timeline that has been tampered with. So, now we have a lot of probabilities. I was told that in the mouth of 3 witnesses shall my truth be established, and it shall come forth as a voice from the dust. What that means is there would be 3 peoples who would have had interaction with the personage known as Jeshua or Jesus the Christ, that would record these interactions and that would stand as a witness in a time when apparently this witness was needed. 2 of them have come forth. One is the Bible, very seriously tampered with piece of evidence. The Old Testament in particular is referring to some of our misguided star brothers that have come here, and the very good book to read on that is Genesis Revisited. But the New Testament as it stands. So that would be witness number 1. Witness number 2 would be the interaction of the Christ personage with peoples on these continents, South and North America. You know, we came here and tried to convert the Native Americans, and they looked at us, and they didn't tell us. You know, this is a very disconcerting habit. I have a partner that's Cree, and he lets me spend 10 minutes explaining something to him, and then he looks at me and says, I know. They had us come here with our missionaries trying to tell them something they already knew. Their secret information is that the white bearded one came from across the ocean, and they speak about the things that he taught and did. It is from there, of being nailed upon the tree or the cross, that the sun dance came forth. It symbolized relinquishing of the will to God, which is what Christ underwent to show that. So the 2 witnesses has been established. Now, before all of you convert to Mormonism, I will also tell you that I had a distinct vision that as of 1972, there was no incorrupt major religious bodies, governmental bodies on the planet. I don't actually see Robert here, but Robert Morningsky is not here, is he? He's kind of a maverick, and to get him to sit still, I think you have to nail his shoes to the floor. But Robert's attempts on his life were done by the Catholic Church. I don't know if he's aware of that, but they were done. They were interfered with by those that want the information to come with that are in other realms. Now, a third witness will come forth, and it will come forth from the inner earth. There are millions of people living inside our hollow earth. Those were the ones that Christ referred to when he spoke to his apostles, and he said, "Other sheep have I that ye know not of, them too shall I visit." 10 of the tribes have disappeared. Where did they go? They're living in the inner earth. They will also bring forth the third witness of Jesus's visit to them in the inner earth. It will be the third witness that will establish the truthfulness of whether he was or he wasn't. But still, the hologram could have been lying to me. We have to seriously consider this. I will tell you that my son and I have seen the Master face to face, jointly and separately. I remember that my son, Shekinah Melchizedek, who was supposed to be here, asked if he could borrow my bedroom, which is the very sacred room of our house. It has 0 electromagnetic field. And he asked if he could borrow it because he had a sacred ceremony to do for the planet. So I gave him the space, and he came in, and, you know, ever since he's been a little boy, he's lived in complete joy. He is a Mahatma. He is a master soul. So I was completely taken aback to see him sobbing so loudly that his shoulders were shaking. I thought something terrible, because he saw some very, very serious visions when he was 13 that put him into 1 year of post-traumatic stress disorder. I thought, oh no, he's seen the planet blow up or some such thing, cancel that. But I thought, what has happened? He said, "Mom, Jesus the Christ appeared in front of me and looked me straight in the eyes. He said, he's shorter than I am." And I said, my son is 6'3". But still, I will not deny the possibility that it could be a hologram. Now let's assume that it is. Let's assume that the Christ personage has been deliberately beamed at us to confuse us and let us give our power away. Where does that leave us? Is there anybody here that feels that the world is strong enough and good enough and whole enough that we can do without the Christs of the world? We need a Christ. Therefore, it is your responsibility, each and every one of you, to become that Christ. There are some of you here that have criticized me because the literature that my staff has written up has said that I believe and go forth and keep the commandment that Christ has given. Go ye forth and do the things that I have done, yea, even greater. He commanded us to do that. So you're saying, who does she think she is? Would you like to know? God, I am. That is who I know I am. Now you know. Now we've got that settled. The Christ consciousness grid has been placed in place. Now, a grid is a geometric array of lines of light. Light is information. It was started 2,000 years ago by either a hologram or the Christ. You finished it in 1987 with the harmonic convergence, when enough of us stepped forward and said, enough. We will not be controlled by fear any longer. We want to move into Christ consciousness. You finished that grid. They have tried to blow it up. They have loads, truckloads of TNT delivered by the trains and transported up the mountain at Mount St. Helens. I know, I never live in that neck of the woods. TNT up Mount St. Helens right before it explodes, it blew the crust off of it. Why? Good heavens, who would be stupid enough to blow up a volcano on purpose? The testing that was done, the French were used for this, which has incurred extremely bad karma for them, and there is a probable future of their water source being poisoned and thousands of people dying before they realize that an Islamic group has done that. That is the karma, because they allowed themselves to be used by your friends and mine, the world government, to do the testing down in the South Pacific. There's a 14-mile rift that has been blown open in the bed of the ocean there. Why? They're trying to blow up the Christ grid. They have failed. Each and every attempt, they've failed. The earth herself would not let that be done. She is ascending in all her beauty and her glory and her majesty. She who has suffered so long under the suppression and rejection and abuse, for which many of you have come in here and taken upon yourself lifetimes of hardship, that in the overcoming of it, you may raise her up. You have covenanted with her to do this. She is ascending, and you have helped put the Christ grid in place. So even if there has never been one known as Jeshua, it is your responsibility to be such a one. Let us look at beliefs. No matter what you believe, it can only coincide with your life's experiences, can't it? But what is ahead of us, my beautiful, beautiful brothers and sisters, is such an exciting event. It is so grand that not our most beautiful imagination can conjure up what lies ahead in the year 2013. All we have to do is make it there. And I'm going to tell you how to, okay? So be at peace. So all we have to do is make it to that time. We have to do only one other thing, and we will automatically ascend with her. We have to remove the interface of fear. Fear is a distortion. Actually, can you do me a favor? Sure. Let's do this, okay? Somebody's interfering with the beauty of the feeling we have here. And we are masters. I would like you, please, just to close your eyes for a minute and sit up very straight. And what I'm going to ask you to do is the same energy that I put in the Michael cards that we're selling at our table. I'm going to ask you to draw down through your pineal the violet light that we will ask the Archangel Metatron to give us. The Saint Germain also works with this light. So I'm going to ask you to pull down the violet light to a pyramid that's right behind, a three-sided pyramid, right behind your belly button. And then I'm going to ask you, and don't do it yet, I'm just telling you, okay? I'm going to then ask you to visualize this violet light burning into your life force center, and with all the power of the beings that you are, I'm going to ask you to send out rings of violet light, cleansing not only this room, but this entire area of the country. And we will do it like this. Okay, just watch me for a moment. We'll pull it in. You felt that, huh? Okay, that's how we'll do it. All of us together. We are invincible, even as individuals. Can you imagine what we can do together through our love for each other? Okay, close your eyes. Metatron, Master of Light. This is a sacred space. We will not tolerate interference. We, the Masters of Light, have come forth to set free the planet. We banish any interruption and interference with love, but with firmness. We ask thee to give us that violet ray of light. We draw it in now with our breath behind the navel, and we force it out in rings. We call upon the Archangel Michael, and we ask that each and every one of us be surrounded with a golden sphere like a flower of life. We surround this whole building and this room with a golden sphere that is a flower of life. God, thank you for the love and the peace of our place that we have established here for our higher learning. A belief is limiting. Faith is a jump into the unknown, knowing that you are indestructible beings. At the end of my talk tonight, I'm going to give you the best kept secret in the entire universe. I'm going to let you experience what that is. It is who you are. I'm going to introduce you to yourself. If we believe anything is absolutely real, we are living in a holographic universe. Everything that seems so unalterably fixed to us is completely pliable. You establish your reality. Did you think that the universe was fixed maze that you kind of have to find your way through? Nah. You see, when God created you, prime creator, created the beings of this universe, he wanted them to have full inheritance of his kingdom. All that the Father hath is thine. Therefore, he gave each and every one of us the ability to create. We have to create a different future and give our brother Danny his life's purpose. He has come to warn us so that we can alter this. Not to tell us this is fixed. Some things are fixed. We're moving into the photon belt. But even that can be altered. But the photon belt is pure light. You will find the light on this planet increase in the same proportion as these hurdles increase. Mother Earth's having many earthquakes, you say. That's true. But haven't you noticed what you go through as you release the old stuff? You know where you keep your really old stuff, like things that are handed down from generation to generation? I teach people the language of pain. I teach it on my level 1 workshop, so that you can understand that if you hurt your left pinky on the back, middle digit, skin versus bone, you know exactly what Spirit is saying to you, because your pains and your ailments is the language of Spirit saying, please bring this into balance. You are never, ever, ever a victim. Remember that. And the future, you are not a victim of the future. You are not a victim of the world government. You have got to know this to change that future, so that the warnings of our prophets, of our remote viewers, would not be in vain. Now, when you enter life with faith, not with beliefs, because beliefs are a certain set of facts. Once you have a belief, what is the point of looking further? None. Keep looking. Whatever seems like reality today will change completely by tomorrow, and it will continue to change as you change, because you're creating it. Faith is a leap into the unknown. It is limitless. It is an allowing. Belief is a closing. Because we have channeled specific energies, or we have received certain visions, it doesn't mean that's the way it is. For instance, let's just assume that a benign deity has beamed for us here a hologram of the life of Christ. Is that not one of the greatest gifts somebody could give us? Because he showed the way. We don't have to reject what he said by saying he's a hologram. Remember, Lucifer himself might have one thing to tell you. So, let us look at some of the other myths of New Age people. We, the light workers, if we judge another, this is born of shame. We inherited shame at a cellular level when we inherited our humanness. Because for generations we have been told that our human body is an unfit vehicle for the soul. You know, we're conceived in sin, we're created imperfectly, and then placed on an imperfect planet, and then expected to behave perfectly. And if we don't, God withdraws his love from us, but we're expected to love unconditionally. Dang, wouldn't anybody feel shame under those circumstances? Just to be in such a mess makes one mad. Well, it is this shame, this feeling of unworthiness that makes us judge another, because if we do, oh, thank heavens, I'm better than that person. Now we don't have to feel so ashamed of our humanness anymore. It is in the flesh where the divine is made manifest. It is the greatest gift that you have skillfully designed for yourself. We have played this game out so carefully, this pretending we are undeveloped light. For light is all there is, and flesh is but a denser manifestation of light. It's just another form of light. There are 7 main forms of light, just like there are 7 main scales on the piano. So, in the judging of each other, we are trying to lift ourselves up. Should we not also allow each other to fail? Tell me, what have you learned the best lessons from? Your successes or your failures? Sometimes the quickest way to know what we are is to experience that which we're not. And if you see your brothers and sisters pulling pain upon themselves, congratulate them on their creativity. They are luminous beings that have designed for themselves experience, designing these pains carefully to demonstrate their mastery and their impeccability as masters of light in this game which is coming to a close. That's why I'm telling you this is the last hurrah for the undeveloped light. We compete with one another. When a light worker has to downgrade another's beliefs, that means they're stuck in their own. When a light worker has to downgrade the other's origins, if I am programmed, like many of you have been saying this weekend, it doesn't matter. All that matters is, do I have something of value that will empower you by teaching you that your power and your light is within. In my second level ascension, we deal with balancing the internal medicine shield, and we look at how you have been deliberately disconnected from your inner parts. You have sub-personalities. You have an inner sage. The earth has sub-personalities. She has everything we have. Her sub-personalities are her races. And if any of them are not expressed and honored and happy, neither is Mother Earth. We teach you in second level ascension how to re-hook up with your sub-personalities, that you may have an internal dialogue. I teach people there the laws of abundance and the perspective that each of your sub-personalities can bring. They bring each their own law. We only know the law of sowing and reaping. It's the least of the laws. You should be manifesting everything you want. Your being is your sustenance. May I repeat that? Because if I only said that to you and you really could hear me, that's all I need to say this whole night. Your being is your sustenance. If you know this, as surely as you know that water is wet, you will cease to need, and you will cease to be controllable. They have controlled you through your fears. When you are in balance, when you have hooked up the internal dialogue with your inner child, with your nurturer, with your sage, your warrior has been disconnected in that it has been turned outwardly. The only thing worth fighting is that which would withhold from you your power. That is all. There are times to act, but when you stop running around doing, and in the wisdom of the infinite you start to be, you will act from a position of quietness. I heal. I expose perfection. But there have been rare times when, without any agenda of my own, Spirit has said, it is time for you to fight. It is time for you to undo. If you are instructed by Spirit to pick up your sword, it will not because you have an axe to grind. It is from this position that you have now aligned yourself with the flow of the universe. And guess what? The minute you cease to strive, the minute you align yourself with the universe, you are all powerful. And no thing outside can harm you. You know, people often criticize me because they say that there are people that take advantage of me or people that use me, or that it's not possible. We're one. That is a view of separation. I cannot fear any one of you. It is not possible. For I walk not among strangers, but I walk amongst my brothers and sisters. We are not separate. We are the one expressing as the many. To fear any one of you, I would have to fear myself. To fear, I would have to regard this universe as an unsafe place. I helped design this universe, as did you. We carefully designed this game of separation. It takes tremendous effort to come in here. We even have to come in here in a state of forgetfulness, because if we didn't, we couldn't relate. We'd remember that we're one. How could we then relate? We have to come in here and pretend we are not gods and goddesses. Because if we didn't do that, we couldn't reinvent our unfoldment as God beings. And we are the sub-personalities of God. Just like you'd have an internal dialogue with your inner child, the inner child would say, I don't want to go to lectures. I haven't had a day off since last year. Please, can I go play on the beach, please? You can buy me a hot dog because you know you don't eat meat, but I want a hot dog. Can you please get me a hot dog? And you say, well, okay, this morning we'll play, but this afternoon I want to attend the lectures. There are things I want to hear. So, okay, we'll go and play. When you are living in harmony with your inner self, which is what we do in level 2, the immediate result of this balance is joy. You are God's subpersonality because you are reinterpreting the experience of being. In you, God dwells and has her being. In God, you dwell and have your being. Just like your own pieces inside. You have designed this game, pretending for a moment that you are not all things. Now, I have come officially to the end of my time, though Dean told me at the beginning that I might go over if that is something that you would wish. I believe that you would wish. Is it all right for me to take another 20 minutes? Okay? Okay. Let us look at some of the other dilemmas that you have been facing. You have been in such a state of turmoil. You know on one hand that you don't want to be an ostrich. You don't want to put your head in the ground. You must know these things. And at the same time, they are so horrendous that you can't fit them into your head. And you feel robbed. You feel like you have suffered a loss of innocence. Therefore, let us define innocence versus ignorance. Because what you are feeling, I went through. I had revelations come at me. They're coming every week, but they came at me bang, 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 day after day after day. I said, God, I don't want to see this stuff. I'm teaching ascension here. Well, I don't want to hear this stuff. This is not relevant to the path. And I was told very distinctly, do not dismiss your search for truth as irrelevant, because the truth shall set you free. And in addition to that, innocence is knowing probable futures, knowing that these things might come, and then raising your eyes above the storm. And if you should experience pain, observe the pain. Stand back. Congratulate yourself on your creativity. For you have designed your life, no one else. And in the designing of your life, you have purposely placed in front of yourself two things. And when you go higher up, you notice that they're actually not two things at all. They're both the same. Gifts and lessons. There's two ways to learn. You can heed the whispers of spirit, or you can wait for it to hit you with a 2x4. The lessons are the 2x4s. You're afraid of what? Let's look at these illusions. There's only one emotion in the universe, and that is love. Anything else is a distortion of this love. The love and the light is the yin and the yang. They are two waveforms supporting each other, vertical and horizontal. They are magnetic and emotional and feminine, and they are electric and intellectual or mental and masculine. This is the duality. We possibly ought to call this game that we're playing here polarity. That would be better. So, if we examine the boogeyman, my kids used to be scared of the robe in the corner. My poor son had a suit of armor next to his bed. And he would wake up in the middle of the night and, a big suit of armor. So we had to give this guy a name. We called him Fred. And we said that he had an allergy, and sometimes he'd sneeze and go ka-clunk, 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 And we made a whole personality for this boogeyman. So let's look at your boogeyman. Because I promise you that fear is an illusion. They will beam fear at you. Yes, radionics can do that. But if you are clear of it, you know when it's not your own. If you look at the Global Science tape that Dean has, where I spoke at the last Global Science conference, you will see me stop speaking and walk to the edge of the stage and walk back again. You see, there were a couple of guys who were beaming their radionics machines at me, because as I was telling people that fear is counterproductive, you know, they were messengers of fear, and they didn't like what I was saying, so they were going to teach me a lesson. And they beamed it at me, and I felt a wave of fear going through my body. Now, fear has its place. It was designed to render service. It's that which makes your hair stand on end when you have parked on the edge of a cliff, and it's trying to tell you, you know, it's better if you just kind of back up. That impulse of fear is your early warning system. But it ran rampant. You lost control of it. And it became the governing factor in one's life. It's time for this imposter to have its day in court and the verdict rendered. When that fear came at me, I said, I'm going to look at this. I mean, maybe I'm on the edge of the stage. Let's take a little look here. And I said, you know what? This isn't mine. I am free of fear. Therefore, I send it back. Pew! It jammed to their machine. I also got the reputation for being the Antichrist, but that's... I am that too. You are the darkest of the dark and the lightest of the light, each and every one of you. Because do you know what you really are? You are a consciousness superimposed over all that is. And those that are dreaming a little dream that they are not light, for light is truly all there is also part of you. And if you judge any part of existence, you are judging a piece of yourself. You are not a consciousness inside your body, folks. You are a pinpoint of power inside a consciousness as vast as creation. And it is when we oppose something that we strengthen it. You attract that which you focus on. Remember that. And you empower that which you fear. I am not going to give them my power. I refuse. I cannot fear something that is doomed to failure. How can anything that pretends it's that which it's not succeed? There were 7 battles fought. When this conference is over, I will give a 2-day seminar called my Inner Technology Seminar. The prophecies have said that I will give very few of those. But the Inner Technology Seminar will teach you how to travel between the worlds so we can fulfill some prophecy. The Hopi said that in these times of purification, which incidentally, the last 15 years of our reality in this density officially starts on the 26th of February in a few days' time, 2 p.m. West Indies time, with the total solar eclipse. The Hopi said that in these last 14 years, the first 7 years will be years of purification, and the last 7 years will be years of learning our lessons. They also said that in these days, mankind will again remember how to travel between the worlds. That is what I will teach you. There is nothing that I know that I will not teach you. There is nothing that I have that I will not give you, including my life. Nothing. Not one of you is excluded. All that I have is yours. Because he who receives his days and nights from the hand of the Creator is certainly worthy of my little teeny gift. Now, Let's look at these fears. You are fearful of hunger. Okay, I'm getting corrected by my higher self. It says that I must be aware of the power of my words. You may be fearful of hunger. You don't need food. You only need that which you think you need. I promise you. Sometimes, for days at the time, I completely forget to eat and drink. There have been many saints. There's a beautiful nun out of Germany that for years didn't eat. There are many yogis that don't eat. You don't need food. The belief systems are keeping you imprisoned in this need for food. If you realize that your being is your sustenance, and we will look when I teach you the internal technology workshop, and tomorrow evening when I teach, I will give you an introduction to this, and we will see what it is that will help you digest the universal energy. I'll teach you those techniques, how to digest universal energy so that food matters not. Neither does water. You don't need the water. You become a fountain of living water. These things are not metaphors. I will teach you the energetic configurations that will produce this and feed you limitless energy. What are you afraid of? Of being shot? I want to tell you that we have scheduled for me tomorrow one lecture. And in that lecture, I will give you an introduction to internal technology. And then the 2 days of my seminar will follow here after Global Sciences closes. Dean has very kindly helped facilitate that. But if you wish, and we will perhaps, I don't know how he wants to do it, show of hands or whatever he wants to do. If you wish, I am happy to teach an additional workshop tomorrow that my son, Shekinah Melchizedek, who is now 17, would have taught. And that is how to spin your light bodies, or Merkaba. Merkaba. How to spin them beyond the speed of light. That is the technique used by shamans when they walk into bullets with their shirts open, and the bullets flatten against their energy fields. It is the safest place in the universe to be. And if you wish to learn that technique, I will teach you the beginning and the advanced Merkaba as received in revelation by my son when he was 13. He is one of the 5 Melchizedeks that have come from the pure consciousness of Melchizedek to help birth this planet into its beingness. And at the end of my talk, if Dean wants to come up and just see what the deal is, or if there isn't time, Dean, that's okay with me too. I just want to make that opportunity available. But that if you learn how to quicken your Merkaba, there is no need for you to fear any physical force. They literally try to take my son and my life. Tomorrow, in my class, if any of you have a candle that's not recessed into a glass but has an open flame, or a lighter would do, a little cigarette lighter or something, I will show you that, like, remember in the Old Testament, in the book of Daniel, there was Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I learned this in a different language, so I don't know how you say it in English. But remember, they cast them into the fire. Do you remember that? And they stood there. The only thing that burnt was the ropes. There is a true account of an explosion inside one of our U.S. submarines, where there was a whole bunch of men in the engine room, and something exploded. One had been on a 21-day fast, and he kept walking in and out of the flame, carrying the bodies of his comrades in and out, out of the flame. He was in that flaming inferno for close to 15 minutes, and they couldn't even find the smell of smoke on him. Tomorrow I will show you. I will hold my hand in the flame, and you will see that it will not burn. Because I have told you that your pains are the language of spirit. The only thing that will let my hand burn is if I permit one of you to offend me. Tell me, my brothers and sisters, how it is possible for one of you to offend me when we are one. And I know that rage and criticism and judgment comes from the feeling or the belief that you are a lonely human cast out here in a little ball in space and cut off from source. I can feel nothing but empathy and love for one that has so little love for self that directs it outwardly. If I permit you to offend me, I will burn my hand, because the hand is the area of being done to or doing to. And I will possibly burn the skin, because the skin is the area that interfaces with the planet. But if I am pure and clear channel for the light of God, which is your higher self, there is no need for me to burn in a flame. It is belief systems that has held you imprisoned. You are indestructible, and that could apply to your bodies. We will teach you the ascension attitudes. You will go through 3 gates and 2 stages, and the first stage is life eternal, where you have mastered your thoughts. What is a shaman? A shaman is one who has mastered himself. Because first you master your thoughts, and then you master the elements of your own body, and then eventually you live life more abundant, where you can say unto someone, "Be thou healed," and it is so. I want to tell you that if any one of you was able to be destroyed, the entire universe would fall. Let me show you why. And I'm going to, unfortunately we can't dim the lights because they're making a video that my office has wanted to reproduce, and so we do need the lights. But I would like you all to, can my brother and my well, let me think. Can we bring the guitar and the flute to make some soft music? I'm going to have them look at who they are, and then we will close. Is the guitar still and the flute still there? Honey, could you come up? Okay. Okay. What I'm going to ask you to do as they get their instruments, I'm going to ask you to focus on what I have told you is the door of everything, which is your heart. Your heart is your most priceless tool, because the currency of the universe is love. All these beings that have come down here, and yes, they have, they're coming in here. You've heard it from the prophets. Some are coming to help us. Some have come to enslave us, because they believe that power is to dominate, because they are themselves unwhole in their perception. Power is not power over. Power is having to do nothing. Power is having never to use it. Your being is your sustenance. You access this as you become still, as you cease to strive, as you lie back in the arms of God and watch the party coming. And I know that it will bring us great grief to see others suffer. Feel your pain, grieve your griefs, laugh your laughter, cry your tears, feel your passions. But in the depths of the ocean, be still and know that you are God. Let the storms but be on the surface. For within you is all that is. You open your heart in the face of tragedy as you feel compassion without judgment, as you know that truly all is perfection. We are going home, and it's 15 short years away. I'd like you to just get very comfortable. I'm going to introduce you to yourself, and with this, reveal to you the greatest secret of all, who you are, the wealthy ones. You have the currency of the universe, which is love. Our poor brothers, the reptilians, the grays, have no capacity to feel. Can you think not to feel the beauty of another's touch upon your skin, or to see the glorious colors of a sunset, or the light on your little boy's eyes? Can you feel what it would be like never to feel the passion of music stir your soul, or hold a beautiful woman in your arms if you're a man? These are our brothers, and with compassion, we refuse their dominance, but we send them away with love. Turn the attention of your third eye onto your heart. Focus on your heart. Put down any notebooks, any cameras. If you want to lie flat, that's okay with me. Protocol is somebody else's value systems, guys. You may do anything you want. Keep your spine straight and focus on the heart. Breathe in and breathe out the tensions of this day deeply. Breathe in. Breathe out the tensions through the soles of your feet. As you breathe in this last cleansing breath, pull down the light of the central sun of the universe through your pineal into your heart. Breathe out the stress through your feet. And now I'd like you to start to visualize the heart center opening. It will open in a rotational way, clockwise. Feel it open, and with your eyes closed and your third eye, look through the opening that is opening in your heart center. The first thing that you will see is the moon. For the moon is connected with your heart. It is our real moon who is awaiting us in a higher realm. Her name is T-Boss. Visualize the heart opening further and further and further. And then you start to see the sun and the other beings that in our star system, our other planets. And your heart opens wider and wider, and eventually you see our entire galaxy. And it opens wider and wider, and then you will see other galaxies. And then your heart is opening beyond the speed of light, and many galaxies appear to your vision. And they seem to all be rotating towards a great light. And as you open wider and wider and wider, you see in the very core of your being the central sun of our universe, the seat of the Father-Mother consciousness, the personality of all that is. And then you open beyond the speed of light to the outer limits of creation. I want you to hover there. Just observe. Observe within you the birth and death of suns. Observe within you the rise and fall of many civilizations. The glorious dance of creation. Observe the beauty, the violence, the passion, the peace. This is all that you are. This is your consciousness. I want you to get to know your own consciousness. And then I want you to think that this also is the consciousness of each and every one of your brothers and sisters. That is why you are all one. To judge any piece of that which is within you will truly be a judgment of yourself. I want you gradually to draw back again, if you wish, back to your heart center. And slowly come back to your bodies. Feel the chair beneath you and the floor beneath your feet. And send forth from your heart an energy of love to all of creation, knowing finally why you are all one. And then when you are ready, slowly open your eyes. My brothers and sisters, many grand and glorious and many amazing things lie ahead. You have only one duty. All you can control is your response to the universe. We have to cease running around trying to control another, trying to control circumstances. The river of life flows through each one's day. Our only responsibility is to align ourselves with this river. That is all. If we do this, we will always be in a safe place. Do you now understand that really there is no unsafe place? Cease to strive. Just be. When you resist life, thoughts arise. Thoughts put you immediately in the future or in the past. Your power lies in living in the now. And you do this through living in meditation. And you do this by living with focus to the now. You will find when you do this that your brothers and sisters, instead of becoming irritants, will be fascinating to you. You will enjoy their antics. My son, as student body president in his school and as such a master, was having such difficulty with the other student body members. And I wrote him a letter, and I said to him what I say to you. Son, when you were a little child, your father and I didn't blame you for doing the things that a little child would. Instead, we enjoyed your babyhood. We enjoyed even the folly of pulling my ornaments down. We enjoyed you throwing your food on the floor. We enjoyed every part of your childhood. So too, enjoy the childhood of your brothers and sisters. Never coerce or force, but show by the example and the patience of a master spirit. There is no important work in the universe, my brothers and sisters. Do not run around doing important work, forsaking the self. There is only a series of moments to demonstrate the master that you are. You will change the consciousness of this planet effortlessly through the wisdom and beauty of your life. Buddha said that 5 seconds of divine love is worth more than 1,000 bowls of food to the needy. When the disciples scolded Mary Magdalene for washing Christ's feet with the precious oils, it can be distributed to the poor which is outside, they said. And Christ said, the poor will always be among us. But this moment of selfless love was worth more than running around doing charity work. It is time for the family of light to remember that which the family of undeveloped light has never forgotten. That true power lies in the hidden realms, which is within. It is there where you will fulfill your destiny as you overcome all things, yea, even the last enemy, which is death. I'd like to close with prayer, if I may, please. I pray to God, the Spirit that moves through all things, that the peace that passeth understanding may rest upon my brothers and sisters as they leave here tonight. I ask that they be quickened, that they might be filled with the light that they are, that they might fully realize that they are not their experiences, that they are luminous beings having these experiences, that they might release the attachment, that they might cease to need, and that in ceasing to need they may have everything to give. I ask for protection around them from the angelic realms of the Archangel Michael. And I do this in the name of my Master, Jesus the Christ, in whose name I glory and in whose name I work. Amen.
Thank you, Almine. We will put out a sheet, a sign-up sheet for the other workshop that she discussed.